When we think of the discovery of the Americas in 1492, we often think of Christopher Columbus. However, what if Christopher Columbus had not set sail on his monumental journey that year? The impact on world history would have been immense, altering the course of global exploration, trade, and culture. In this essay, we will explore the potential outcomes of a world without Columbus's voyage. Without Columbus's voyage, the European presence in the Americas would have been delayed, impacting the exchange of plants, animals, and diseases known as the Columbian Exchange. The establishment of colonies and the transatlantic slave trade would have been delayed or altered, potentially changing the power dynamics and cultural influences in the Americas and Europe. The absence of Columbus's voyage would have also affected the development of navigation and mapping, as his journey sparked further explorations and advancements in sea travel. Furthermore, the discovery of alternative trade routes to Asia could have resulted in different global economic systems and international power distribution. Overall, a world without Columbus's voyage would have significantly reshaped the development of the modern world, from the spread of knowledge and technology to the cultural diffusion and demographic shifts that occurred as a result of the Columbian Exchange. The impact on European exploration. Without Columbus's voyage, European exploration of the Americas would have been significantly delayed. It's important to note that Columbus's journey was not the first transatlantic voyage, but it did pave the way for sustained European interest and colonization of the New World. Without his expedition, other explorers may have eventually reached the Americas, but the timing and extent of their voyages would have been different. The delay in European exploration would have affected not only the shape of the Americas, but also the global exchange of ideas and resources. The lack of Columbus's voyage would have altered the trajectory of European expansion into the Americas, potentially impacting the distribution of power, wealth, and cultural influence in both the Old World and the New World. The delayed European presence in the Americas would have affected the scope and scale of the Columbian Exchange, the transfer of plants, animals, and diseases between the Eastern and Western hemispheres. Moreover, the impact on native populations in the Americas would have been different, as the delayed arrival of European settlers could have resulted in altered demographics and cultural developments. Additionally, the delay in European navigation and mapping of the Americas would have influenced the development and use of trade routes, potentially leading to different global economic systems and international power dynamics. Therefore, the absence of Columbus's historic voyage in 1492 would have created a ripple effect that fundamentally altered the course of world history and the intercontinental connections that emerged from European exploration and colonization. The effect on Native American societies. The absence of Columbus's arrival in the Americas would have had a profound and lasting impact on the indigenous peoples of the region. Without the contact and subsequent colonization by Europeans, Native American societies would have evolved differently in various aspects. The introduction of new diseases, such as smallpox, measles, and influenza to which the Native Americans had no immunity, caused devastating population declines. Without the European conquest, the transfer of crops and animals, such as wheat, sugar, horses, and cattle, that occurred during the Columbian Exchange would not have taken place as rapidly or on the same scale. The exchange of cultural ideas, technology, governance, and social structures would also have been different. The absence of European colonization might have allowed Native American cultures to develop more independently, with potentially different trajectories in terms of technology, governance, and social structures. The impact would have been visible in various aspects of life, including agriculture, the organization of communities, and the use of natural resources. The diverse and complex societies that existed in the Americas prior to European contact would have continued to flourish, potentially shaping the trajectory of global history in a distinct manner. Therefore, the absence of Columbus's historic voyage in 1492 would have dramatically altered the cultural, social, and demographic development of Native American societies. the alteration of global trade routes. Columbus's discovery of the Americas in 1492 opened up new trade routes that fundamentally transformed global commerce. The exchange of goods, ideas, and people between the Eastern and Western hemispheres, known as the Columbian Exchange, had far-reaching implications for both the Old World and the New World. Without Columbus, the patterns of trade across the Atlantic would have been drastically different, impacting the agricultural, culinary, and transportation systems on both continents. The absence of certain crops like potatoes, tomatoes, and corn in Europe, or the lack of horses in the Americas, for example, would have had substantial consequences for agriculture, cuisine, and transportation on both continents. European cuisines would have lacked these staple foods, which had a profound impact on their societies. The introduction of these crops from the Americas spurred population growth in Europe and supported the expansion of urban centers. Additionally, the absence of horses in the Americas would have significantly impacted transportation and agricultural practices, as horses played a crucial role in farming, transportation, and warfare in European societies. Furthermore, the Columbian Exchange also facilitated the spread of diseases, although detrimental, which led to the natural selection of disease resistance in the affected populations. This biological and cultural exchange between the Old World and the New World fundamentally shaped the development of both hemispheres and the global trade routes. The repercussions for modern geopolitics. The non-discovery of the Americas by Columbus would have had significant repercussions for modern geopolitical boundaries. European powers would not have been able to establish the vast colonial empires they did in the Americas. The absence of these colonies would have altered the power dynamics in Europe and reshaped the distribution of resources and influence around the world. Without the colonization of the Americas, other regions such as Africa, Asia, or Oceania might have become more dominant players in the global arena. For instance, it's possible that African empires could have continued to thrive and exert influence on the global stage, potentially altering the course of European and Asian history. Without the influx of wealth from the New World, the balance of power in Europe might have been different, potentially affecting the outcomes of conflicts and treaties throughout history. Additionally, the lack of colonization in the Americas might have led to different territorial disputes and alliances, shaping the geopolitical landscape in ways we cannot entirely predict. The absence of the extensive territorial claims made by European powers in the Americas would have likely shifted the focus of colonial expansion to other regions, impacting global trade and economic systems. This shift could have resulted in different alliances and conflicts among nations vying for control of key territories and resources, ultimately influencing the distribution of power in the world. Therefore, the failure of Columbus to discover the Americas would have led to a significantly different geopolitical landscape, creating ripple effects that would have resonated across the globe. Conclusion. In conclusion, the hypothetical scenario of Christopher Columbus not discovering the Americas in 1492 would have led to a radically different world. The timing and nature of European exploration, the development of Native American societies, the patterns of global trade, and the modern geopolitical landscape would all have been profoundly different. This exercise in counterfactual history serves to highlight the pivotal role of Columbus's voyage in shaping the world as we know it today. Without Columbus's fateful journey, the development of the modern world would have taken a different trajectory. European exploration and colonization of the Americas may have occurred at a later date, affecting the exchange of plants, animals, and diseases during the Columbian Exchange. The absence of Columbus's voyage would have had profound effects on the development and demographic changes of native populations in the Americas, significantly altering their social and cultural trajectories. Furthermore, the patterns of global trade, particularly the exchange of goods, ideas, and people between the Eastern and Western hemispheres, would have been fundamentally different without Columbus's discovery. European colonial empires would not have expanded as they did, potentially leading to a reconfiguration of power dynamics and resource distribution worldwide. The scenarios of a world without Columbus's voyage resonate with the fundamental shifts that would have occurred, underscoring the enduring impact of this historic event on the course of human history.